about me and my little brother George, actually pronounced Jorg, weasel. So when we were growing, I was the baby in my family. I come from a family of 7 people. And one little preface to this story is how hard it was for me to find an actual story about affection. Yet I have 7 brothers and sisters. So up until I was about, I guess it was 9, I was the baby of the family and the most beloved. And I enjoyed that. And along came these 2 little adorable identical twins, Jorg and Josef. And the cutest of all was kind of the little runt, Jorg. He's a little smaller than Joe, and he would walk around wearing these like blue plastic boots and this old army hat, like one that we took the padding off, and he would run around in the yard with his little striped turtleneck on and try to have little fights with the switches from the apple tree. And I wanted not to like him, but you really couldn't help it. He was the sweetest little kid, and I would scratch his back until he fell asleep at night, singing out-of-tune lullabies. And somewhere around the age of 9 or 10, he really didn't appreciate me following him around, scratching his back, climbing into bed with him at night, and dressing him up in my cute little dolly outfits, and he was over it. And I wanted him to really like me. And so I spent much of my high school and later years trying very hard to be cool and impress him with how cool I was, bring over my really hot girlfriends, and impress upon my brother my sisterly affection. But he wasn't really going to have it. The nice thing about George is that as he grew up later in life, he became very religious, and we actually used to call him Brother Jorg. He went off to Boston College, and he decided he was going to be a priest. I liked him anyway, and I invited him down to see me in Washington, D.C., where I was trying to get a job for the man and not doing so very successfully, so I was basically cocktail waitressing for about 5 years. And I invite my little brother down, and he comes to visit me, and we decide to go to the JCC to play a little racquetball. And we're sitting there, we're having a great time. I'm really working hard to get my brother to like me. And aren't we having fun? This is so great. And I turn around, I hit the ball, and he goes up to hit it, and he kind of rolls his eyes back in his head, and he falls on the ground. I'm like, oh, George, you're so funny! And, well, it wasn't so funny. George fell into a grand mal seizure on the ground, and me staring down at him could see in his eyes that look that I had not seen since he was just a baby. That kind of desperate look that I couldn't do anything for. I called out, call 911, like they say to do in the movies, and I crawled down on the ground behind him, and I grabbed him like this and just tried to keep him from shaking around and smacking his head. And I could see in his eyes this look of, what's happening to me, and can you help me? And I didn't know what I could do, so I just lay there holding him. And we brought him to the hospital, and he had to stay for a couple of days, and a couple of weeks later he left and he went home, and Dad called and said that Jorg is now an epileptic, and he had had another moment when he got home, and I just didn't know. He felt really uncool around me, and he didn't really want to hang out with me too much anymore or talk to me on the phone, and I wasn't sure if that was because of what happened or because he'd found this new girlfriend and was spending all his time with her. But just a couple months ago, he called me to say, I'm getting married. And he said, would you come? And I hadn't seen him in so long, I wasn't sure if he really wanted me to come. He's like, of course. I couldn't do it without you standing behind me.